welcome to DogStar.
Each week we sit down with a star of rap and R&B, and this week we have the pleasure of sitting down with shyEX.
How you doing?
Fabulous. It's another day in paradise, guys.
We really appreciate you joining us,
Paradise.
joining your fans.
Yeah, and
And,
oh my gosh.
taking a
this
peek.
opportunity is so dope. Like, to be honest, oh my gosh. I don't know what to do with my arms. What do I do with my hands?
We're the lucky ones.
Yeah, we are super lucky, and we're good today, feeling like a very lucky day. So
Let's dive into it.
Yeah,
We'd like
let's.
to hop in the time machine. Kick
Yeah.
us off with the origin story. So we're gonna reach the deep accesses of our brains, of your brain in particular.
So
Okay, cool.
Were you born here in Minnesota?
Yes, I'm a Minnesota girl. I keep it tatted on my arm.
Hey.
I've moved from Minnesota, and people see it, and they're all like, why do you do that? And I'm like, they're like, are you going to forget? And I'm like, who knows? I might. My family, they're like, we're all crazy. Who knows? So yeah, I was like born and raised over in North Minneapolis for most of my life. And then I ended up traveling because my mom lost her house when I was in high school, and the house foreclosed. And actually, I always hustled when I was like younger. I was like dusting knickknacks, washing cars, raking leaves, shoveling snow. I was doing it all. So I would pay for a vacation ever since I was like, since I was a jit, And so I was 15, went on vacation, and I ended up staying there. And so like I've been back and forth between Arizona and Minnesota throughout my childhood or like my teenage years.
Yeah.
And then I ended up coming back here. Well, I think it was about like 3 years ago now, like 3, almost 4 years ago. So yeah,
Awesome.
Minnesota girl.
And we know you as a recording artist extraordinaire. How early was like art or like creativity a part of your life?
So like I was a closet writer for a long time.
Okay.
Like a long time. And I had social anxiety too on top of it. So I really wasn't really like talking to many people. So it was like I got into or out of my first relationship with like real relationship with my first baby dad, like with my oldest child. And after that, I just started like I started raving and stuff, and like and that's when I started like sharing my art. But that was like when I was like I was about 20, 21 when I started sharing it. But I used to always write poetry ever since I was in like 8th grade. So I was probably like 13 or 14.
Oh wow.
Like tons of like journals. Like I would just write, I was like one of those like just no topic, just like open ended, just to get thoughts out on paper so you have space for like new thoughts, I more recently like am able to put that into words, but back then like I would just do it, just drawn to it, just very drawn to it. But yeah, when I was getting out of that toxic relationship, I was starting to freestyle at raves.
Wow.
And so like you can hear the bass line, and like I would heavily smoke cigarettes at that point in my life. I was chain smoking cigarettes like freaking crazy. And so I'd be out there and I would just hear it. And I'd be standing there talking to people because, like, whatever. It was, like, the first time I was, like, free to, like, just be me. Like, since I was an adult, because I was a teen mom. I had my first kid when I was 17. So I was really locked into that lifestyle. I was working so much. I was free for once.
Yeah.
And, I was, like, really freestyling with random people. I was doing it at work, too. I was loading trucks at UPS. And that's when I met another local artist, Ratliff. He was one of my coworkers, and he was loading trucks beside me in the same section at UPS, and I would bring this big old like Sony speaker, blast it, start freestyling just because that's what I was into at that point.
Right.
And he invited me to his studio when he was at Profile Studios.
Sick.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And right. Like, remember the studio flooded one year when the storms were really bad. I think that was 2018 or 2019. I want to say it was 2018 because it was before I met my my second baby dad. Third baby dad. I don't have a third baby dad. I have 2 baby dads. But yeah, so when I was making music with Ratliff, he was just really helping me hear myself on a mic.
Yeah.
Just encouraging me to write because I would just show up and like honestly, I was like crash out, like whatever. He was really trying to encourage me to not do any of that. He was straight edge at that point. I don't know what he was doing with his time very much lately because we're not very close, but he was like, he was very straight edge. He was just like, trying to get me on the right track.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and when the studio flooded that night, that's when I met my other baby dad, and that's the person who actually got me to start posting my music. Like, we made a Love Baby, like our first album, like with Silence Until Broken.
Yes.
That's the collective I started with. And so we started that collective in like 2019.
Yeah.
And then I didn't start posting my own music until like 3 years ago. So like 2022.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
That's
I've been doing it for a while.
Journey. So the writing, did you get introduced to that through school, or did you have like parents or siblings that were also into journaling or poetry?
So people ask that a lot. Like, there's my mom. She's into like more like visual arts and stuff. So she'll draw and like paint. She like I don't know. She doesn't draw very much lately, but like she does realistic stuff, and it's actually really crazy. And she does like cartoon, like realistic cartoons and stuff. It's like real goofy stuff.
Okay.
But my oldest brother. So I have 4 brothers. I'm the second oldest. So he used to be in a band when I was in 8th grade at that point. So that's kind of like when I first like got that spark to like even know I could write like in a form of like music.
Yeah.
And so I would just listen to them while they would play. And so like I was in 8th grade, all of them were seniors. So all my friends graduated before I even started high school,
No.
So I was like, so I was here free falling after that year. But
Exactly.
it was really cool that I got into writing from that. Like I would just listen to them, and nobody even knew I was writing over there. Type shit. Like
That's awesome. Do you remember the name of the band by chance?
Vortile.
Aha.
And then they also had one that was Minnesota Frost.
Nice.
And yep, they were metal, like screamo. I don't know, people don't like that term. It was like they also had like gent, like influences. Like 7-string guitar type shit. Like they're going crazy.
Wow.
And yeah.
So they just loved music, and cool that you were into writing already, and then it totally makes sense that the journaling and poetry and self-expression, it sounds like you were finding through that. Just
I was so
right into
quiet back
music.
then. I was so quiet.
I mean, what were you listening to music wise?
Man, music wise, I remember like my first CD was like Mariah Carey and like Sierra, the one that had like the 1-2 step and like my goodies on it, shit, like, and then like Mary J. Blige, I was listening to that growing up, and like the Fugees, and like what is his? Does he go by Mario or is it Mario? It's Mario. Like a lot of R&B, like growing up, and then my mom like. She listened to that like when I was growing up, but like she used to listen to like a lot of punk like music from when she was growing up. So every once in a while she'll throw like random like punk songs at me growing up. And my dad listened to country music, like straight up country music. Like we would have to watch westerns and all that stuff all the time. But he also listened to like southern rap, like Petey Pablo.
Ooh.
Like.
Is he from the South, or what's or just a rural guy?
Yeah, he's from South Carolina.
Okay.
I think our family, is it from Orangeburg, is from where that side of my family's from. Yeah, he came out here, I don't know when he came out here, but he ended up meeting my mom, and it was history.
Yeah.
It was history. Absolute history.
Met up. Yeah, met up and matched up. That's awesome. So when you started making music with, you said it was your the father of your first child. Was that in Minnesota or was that in Arizona?
Good question, because I was moving around a lot. Mm-hmm. So with my first baby dad, when that ended, we had just moved back from Arizona like 6 months prior. So yep, I was in Minnesota. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep, I remember having my second child, and we had just bought an apartment because we were staying with people when we first came back. It was rough times, whatever, humble beginnings, you know. And yeah, we got this apartment. He wasn't helping me pay for it, so you know, I just really ended up looking at what was in front of me and was just like, how 4 years is a long time to wait for somebody to get their stuff together. So at that point, I couldn't even look at myself like a bad person for saying bye, get out, you know. So
Totally.
yeah,
That's how
that
it
was
goes.
cool. I made my house right into a music house after that point. My kids became little musical studio babies and stuff. I didn't even have a studio in my house for a long time, but like
Just
after
the
that,
creative
always music was
zone
there, like,
to do it.
Yeah.
So Silence Until Broken is the first group that you were a part of. Were you going by shyEX when you were a part of that, or did you even have your own artist names at that point?
Yeah, so shyEX is like a part of my original name. So I used to go by Shy Explosion. And it was just because like you wouldn't even know like what's going on over here unless you like break that ice, you know? So I used to go by that for a long time. And then when I started doing my own music, that's when I shortened it up because I was like, man, like, how am I going to shorten this up, make it sweet? I really don't want to change it too much because I like it, you know, I liked the Shy Explosion thing, but it's a mouthful. And I ended up coming up with shyEX, and then I looked at it, and it's like it hits in multiple ways for me, like because like you can learn a lot in being like somebody's ex, like you know ex girl, ex man, ex friend, you know ex family, you know like all that. You can learn so much in being somebody's ex, and I was like, okay, that really resonates with me, and then also just because of the fact I could shorten it up. And it wasn't so much of a mouthful. Right. You know?
Nice number of letters.
Yeah.
Not a lot of repeat letters.
Yeah.
It's a good
Definitely.
name, good brand.
Yeah. And like my logo isn't even a logo. It's literally just the font. But it works because like, come on now. I'm probably going to do something different over time. But for now.
For the first iteration.
It's clean. It looks good.
Classic logo. Yeah. No, that's
kind of like the band Blur, you know, or I guess any band using the same font throughout,
Right.
you know, even if it's, you know, tweak it, switch it just a little bit.
Yeah, the logo can definitely just be a font. Totally.
But it's something that fans can recognize, you know, through the first wave of projects, of singles.
Exactly. And yeah, I think we can get into the music because the first
please.
hint of anything I could find was on your SoundCloud. The first playlist, the date that it was created was 9/25/19. So I'm assuming there's music before then.
Ooh.
2019.
Yeah, actually, yep.
And then the first song that I could find on something was a Silence Until Broken song, In My Head.
That's crazy.
Produced by 666 Delete.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome that you're crediting all the producers on the SoundCloud. That's huge.
That's a battle.
I mean, seriously, it's something that fans and some artists who are just getting started have no idea about.
See, and what I wanted to do is make sure everybody gets their credits along the whole process. And like the reason it's a battle is because, which is also another reason I don't make music with SUB anymore. Not too exclusively. Like we still make music, but like we're not strong partners like we used to be. Is because you can't we'll bring beats to the pot. And it's like I'll make sure my beats can be used, like they're like if we're gonna spend money, we have those ones already worked out, or if we're gonna use the free beats, or we have friends give us beats, that should be worked out before we're putting that in the pot and we make a song on it, you know,
100%.
and then we'll move forward. And like I have like one of my favorite songs that I made with SUB, appearances. I play it on Instagram all the time because it's my favorite. People need to hear it. I'll perform it, but I can't post it because I don't know who freaking made it.
Man, and yeah, was that the song that you learned that lesson on, or how'd you know that you even needed just friends in the music industry, or Ratliff's probably on his P's and Q's?
Yeah, I guess you could say that because that's where I kind of started doing things, and so it's probably like second nature to like know that.
I mean, some people still don't. So.
Right. Yeah,
But
honestly, you can still
crediting is normally the lowest bar to use a beat from somebody for free. It's like the least you could do.
Yeah.
And if we're not going to be able to credit this guy, then...
But still, when doing that, you know, it all depends on, I mean, who originally owned the beat, who thinks they bought that beat exclusively, what the terms of that, lease was that might have lapsed since you bought it 5 years ago.
Right.
20 other people might have
You
it.
have to keep track of all that stuff.
Exactly. So.
Even when I buy a beat, like if I buy a beat or whatever, I'll still credit the person like who made it, just because it was a pleasure to work with them, like genuinely, like it's not a problem, like absolutely.
And you've got a lot of repeat collaborators in your discography, so that it must pay off. They must appreciate it. It seems like.
When you find a good producer, you got to stick with them.
Man.
For real. I mean, you're in it together. You can't do it alone.
That's why it sucks that SUB had to break up. Well, we had to break up. Jen and I broke up.
Yeah.
So we had to. Screw it.
Gotta move on. Gotta move on.
And then like I said, I'm sure there was music within 2019, and then that song at the end of 2019, and then June 2022, Silence Until Broken, Splits, produced by Emo Whip, and then you're just pretty much on a roll from here on out in your career, having Silence Until Broken featuring on songs, like Trust Issues, which is a great song, and that's also on Spotify.
Oh dang,
which is
man!
sick.
Yeah, I forgot I did that song for Ice Out. That's technically his song. All these songs, like with SUB, because it was like in the beginning, for me, it was like how to put it. It was like, since I was doing all this with Jen had already been producing things for 5 years prior to meeting me. And so he has all this experience. He knows what his sound wants to be. So when he started showing me these beats, these like distorted beats and all this stuff, this like changed my freaking world. Like,
right.
Like, sure, I raved. I heard all this like EDM stuff, but like, and I've heard distorted music and stuff, but it was just like really crazy. And like, he was showing me he started showing me like different types of scream artists and stuff. Like I hadn't heard of like X until after he died, and I hadn't heard of like NASCAR Aloe or like, and he put me on with like Rico Nasty and like just like different people though. Like there's all sorts of different scream artists and like Unity, but like that stuff really changed my world. So like when I was doing that stuff, which is like that band, I was like kind of in a box. I'm not even gonna lie. To be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it was really frustrating because when most times these beats were brought to me, like it was really good. Like these beats were different. Like people like them. It's good. And like, he was helping me make this stuff into a brand and like, like help taste that so then we know what kind of direction we want to put it in.
Sorry to interrupt you. We got to take a break. We are sitting down here with shyEX on DogStar, working our way through the first few chapters of her musical journey.
Exactly. We'll be right back. Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
We're sitting down with shyEX, formerly Shy Explosion.
Formerly a farmer.
Actually, that's crazy you say that. Like my family on my mom's side had a farm.
Really? Near Minnesota or out in Arizona? Or?
So like when they were in Minnesota, they had like geese and chickens, and like when they were in Arizona, they had like more chickens and horses.
Whoa.
So you're no stranger to chickens and horses and
I had to shovel
hard
so
work.
much poop.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm picturing a horse music video, or a music video where you're riding a horse. I think that'd be sweet.
You feel like
Some
you're on top of the
Sade.
world when you're on a
Yeah.
horse. Like, seriously.
Before the break, we were talking about the first few chapters of your musical journey, some of your early collaborators, and some of the lessons that you're able to bring into your present-day music. I forget where we were in the discography.
I think we're in August 2022. Just cranking out the song. 3 singles that month. Offline also came out featuring Sir Roses.
Oh, yeah,
and, Roxas, yeah. And Genuine, which is a sick one. And then another Ice Out feature, the WAP remix.
Yep, I remember because I was literally starting to record my solo stuff, and everybody's hearing it, and they were like,
Gotta jump on it.
Yeah, when are you gonna make a song with me? Or can we make a song? Can I do a verse on it? And I'm like, at this point, I was getting mad at people because I was like paying so many bills and like I had the studio set up in my house and people were just there all the time and it was really hard to have people around all the time and raise kids and like it wasn't like people were being unsafe, but it was just annoying, you know? And like I was like, if you're gonna be on this song, you better spit a good verse.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the only way that you're gonna be on the
standard,
song, you know?
exactly.
Because this is my art now, you know. That's when I started like really like thinking about myself, like, yo. But yeah, all those songs right there, they were clustered up. They were all like made, and I was like showing people what I had made by myself, and it was like, I ended up getting those features because I couldn't finish the songs, you know. Like I was coming up with half songs, and I was like, boom, all these features popping out,
And then bam,
Fill
bam,
them in,
bam.
release them, and continue that momentum.
yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah,
Oh, so sorry. I saw some stuff on Instagram that wasn't even on Spotify. Too Deep. Couldn't find that one anywhere.
Yeah, that's a throwback.
It's got to be somewhere. And
That
then
one's hiding on YouTube.
And then it was saying that there's an album called No Name somewhere that I couldn't find.
I wrote a really sad song on there for my kids. I was away from my kids for like 8 months
Whoa.
during that
And then
Oh my gosh.
crazy time.
Flex, the single dropped, and the video dropped for that. Is that your first music video?
Yeah, that's when I like, let's see, yep, because I was back in Minnesota at that point.
Okay.
Excuse me. I had gone back to Arizona, but I had come back by that time. And I had started editing music videos because Jen's father donated like this old camcorder to us or whatever.
Sick.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because way back when, I suppose I didn't think about that. I used to like dance, like do like footwork and stuff. Like,
Really?
This was back in the 8th grade segment, like before I like met the band and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, we would be dancing and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm super ADHD. Hold on. But
Music video editing.
I used to edit the music videos for the dancing team.
Sick.
Thank you.
Nice.
And yeah, so I had a little bit of skills in doing that. And so when I was doing it for Jen and I was just like, cool, let's just put all this on the computer whenever I have time. I'll make the videos.
Boom,
and I
boom,
did it.
boom.
Like
Yeah.
boom. And I'd show it to him and he was like, this is actually really good. Like yeah, let's use it. And I'm like, cool. Like
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, so then we ended up doing that. That was cool.
Have you always been like a quick learner? Like
Yes.
being able to pick up stuff?
Jack of all trades. It's like literally so hard for like growing up and even still sometimes. Like now I'm kind of just pushing myself into things, but like it's so hard to decide what to do
Yeah.
because it's hard to be bad at things, bro. All you have to do is want to do something to do better at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and usually I don't do things unless I want to do them. If it's not a heck yes, it's a heck no. You know? Like straight up.
Did you have any role models, or do you have any role models that imparted that onto you? Did you find that within yourself? Or?
I had examples of what not to be. Okay?
Oh.
Keep playing with me. Like, not... I know, that could be offensive for some people watching, but seriously, like, when it came to the people that I would be, like, drawn... Like, that my attention was drawn to, and the messages that the universe was feeding me would most of the time be coming from like people, environment, situations that I didn't want to be a part of. And that was the things that would teach me. You know, it wasn't the people that were holding my hand telling me, oh, do this, do this, do this, do this. That was teaching me stuff. It was
Right.
like me burning my arm when I was 2. I have a Harry Potter scar on my arm. I burnt myself on a heater, and like as I grew, the scar got bigger. But it was just like I wouldn't have learned like the heat was hot unless I did it. You know?
Yeah,
like,
so these people were influences nonetheless.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't a good influence,
Yeah,
it's
seems
still
You learned from them.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely was able to learn from.
reminds me of what you're saying
Messy
about your
things.
name, about the embracing the X part, things you had to leave behind, but like learned from for sure.
You feel me? Yeah.
I do. That's super cool. And then closing out 2022, Doghouse Haze.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Such a vibe.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's with is it pronounced Genuine?
Yeah, genuine.
Genuine,
Yep.
and then Iced Out, produced by YVES. Yeah, you guys are. longtime collaborators at that point, pumping out music together, hanging out,
Heck yeah.
vibing off the creative juices, I hope.
Yep, things were definitely like we were like a well-oiled machine with music. Not
Really?
so much financially, like I was, but like they were having a hard time financially. We were all like living together at that point. Like throughout, like what was that? 2, maybe 3 year span.
Yeah, 2023 is about to be a crazy year as far as the discography goes. We
Yeah.
got Finances featuring Nigel T.
Oh, the
And so it's
everlasting
like,
gumball. That's what I call him.
That's good.
And yeah, just that like dark rap. Like I was saying, that's definitely a
really
lane
like
to
his
be
sound,
in, and yeah, I didn't know you guys worked together before digging through your discography.
I was
So
a
it's
fan
like
on
it's
Facebook.
a perfect match.
Yeah, of his. I was a fan on Facebook for like, I think like a year or 2.
Awesome.
And yeah, I was listening to his stuff on SoundCloud or whatever. And then when I came back up to Minnesota, he was throwing a show. And since I was following him, he was looking for acts or whatever. And it was when the depot was still open. And and
So-
like, yeah, that's how I ended up meeting him in person.
Wow.
And he saw like how I do things. And yeah,
We've got a note here. March 2021, an Armageddon production show. Would that
Oh
have
my
been?
goodness, that's crazy. They ended up like getting me off of a lineup. Armageddon did.
Just
It was
gotcha.
like, it wasn't even my beef. It was like beef in the street.
Oh,
Like it was
man.
so weird. And somebody else had invited me to be on the set, and like it was just a random invite. And I was like, sure. You know, they told me a date. They added me to this group chat, and then like it was like that was like a month or 2 before the show, and then like 2 weeks before the show, I'm in there, and then. What's dude's name from Armageddon Records? The dude who was running it or whatever. He's in the group chat talking about I couldn't be in there because he had beef with. I'm name dropping like crazy.
Oh. Hey,
That the whole
we're not here to
situation.
stir any pot.
No,
But that's
well,
just-
it's not even. It wasn't even serious like that. But it was just like Armageddon was throwing a little show at the Cultural Center, and I went to feature for Lil Sensei.
That's what the video I saw was. Yeah.
I made that feature when I was living in Arizona,
Whoa.
and I was able to perform it when I moved back here.
That's
Sick.
huge.
Yeah, and that's when I ended up meeting Armageddon Records stuff, and it was cute. It was really intimate. Like I like the intimate shows better than the big shows.
Yeah.
Like and
Making eye contact with everybody.
the interactions, like the whole night. If you decide to like mix with people in the room, it's easier to just connect
Right.
with what you're experiencing. Yeah.
Are
And
there
that
any
was
really
dope?
good.
I was gonna ask, are there any dope venues out in Arizona that you either attended or performed at in the kind of the back and forth? Or I know it was a
What's this?
tumultuous period,
Yeah,
but
because that was like really in the beginning, like 2019 there. Like, yeah, so I was like making the music with Jen, and I was working, and I saw this like ad for My Afton or whatever, and they do like free events for artists, and like you
Cool.
just sign up free online, and like they just let you know when the events are, and like you can choose to accept it or not. And I ended up being set up with the Underground Music Cafe out there, and it was really cool because people like were there talking about like the history and stuff about it, and I guess like Sublime used to go there, like that was like their little
Cool.
home like place to perform. It was cool. It was like in a basement of this like on the street front. It looks like a cafe or something. And then you like walk around to the back of the building, and you go in there, and you do your ticketing, and then you go down these stairs, and then like it kind of
Whoa.
opens up. They have like a sitting area and like a stage, and it was really cool. It was really cool. So I hung out at the Underground Music Cafe there. It's much different than the one here. And I decided to make it out to their annual music festival, which was like a big block party that they had fenced off, and you had to pay to get in. But it was like they had big stages set up, and they had like part of it was indoor and part of it was outdoor. I was able to connect with a lot of people there. That was pretty cool.
And were you performing yet? Or what was your first song you wrote that you performed? I want to make sure we don't miss that in the
Yeah.
journey here.
I think the first song that I wrote and performed was that In My Head. Yeah, because that was before the album. Well, we ended up performing that at the Underground Music Cafe because that was
Cool.
my first performance was there.
And how'd that go?
And I had 2 there, and it was the first one. There wasn't very many people there, but it was really like me being able to deliver and able to be able to like really be there and experience what was happening. It was very cool for me. I felt like a
Yeah.
superstar.
Yeah.
I drove my hoopty to the venue and I was just like in awe the whole time. It was just like progress to me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, it didn't matter what it looked like because I knew that I had to make these steps to make myself comfortable. Like you have to like work the muscles out to get stronger, you know, like that kind of like theory to me. And yeah, the second show I had there, because I had 2 there, it was really cool because there was a lot of people there and like you know, because other acts were there. I was just starting, so I didn't really have like a fan base or anything. But other people were able to see what I had to offer, and people really enjoyed it. I ended up like making some connections out there. I didn't do very much work out there just because like I hadn't exercised that muscle very much and I wasn't very trusting on it.
But yeah,
But,
cool to
it was
get
cool.
strangers' opinion of you versus people who are like somehow tied to you.
Right,
Like, you
right.
never know if you're going to get the perfectly honest feedback.
And it sounds like Arizona will be a stop on the tour. Yeah, in the near future.
We'll have to go there for sure. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
That's awesome. I've never been.
Yeah, it's hot. It's the butthole of America, I tell people.
Okay.
Sounds nasty. Human Centipede came out in February, produced by Cubsy Beats. May, we've got Loki.
Oh, one of my
produced
favorites.
By YVES, if that's how
People tell me I sound like Missy Elliott on that one, like all the time.
it's nice. And
Going
with the
hard.
solo stuff, really branching out on the genres. I feel like it's not necessarily,
In a box. Or,
I love it.
yeah,
love it
can
so
do
much.
whatever you want to do. And yeah, really honing the skills on the vocal production on some of those tracks.
Hey,
Big
thank
time.
you.
Are you doing the recording initially, or are you recording your demos and then bringing that to the stew? Or
So yeah, during that point in time, I needed help. I needed a space bar man. And yeah, because it was the cutting and the specifics, because when I was starting to spit a lot of that stuff in the beginning, I was really trying to I was stacking my lyrics. Like I was really inspired by like fast rappers, like you know, like Busta Rhymes and Twista and stuff. You know,
right.
like I was very
The fastest.
inspired by that, and like I could write like that. So I was just like I wanted to do that, and someone
Exactly.
recording that. Oh my gosh, because I have anxiety when I'm first sharing stuff that I am nervous about. Like so
Yeah.
I'll get to the point where energy in I will literally be shaking like a chihuahua, right?
Oh, no.
And so
when you're debuting it to your friends and stuff,
you know, and so that'll come off in the recording sometimes, like in those beginning
the studio
steps.
sessions.
I had to exercise that muscle, man. But so I would need a spacebar man because I would start off shaky and then end up coming in with the punch and then having to come back and like do all the punch and stuff. But then now, I don't know how far into that necessarily, but nowadays I'll sit in my room. I finally officially set up my own studio.
Whoa.
Yes.
SUB broke up and everything.
Just
Yeah. I set it up like around New Year's this year. Oh yeah, I got my studio set up. So I've been in my room recording, and I've got friends that are teaching me how to use like the software to get my stems.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't know how to do that before, so this is really a game changer because I would rather perform like in my room by myself or like record or whatever. It feels like I'm performing, like whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like I
Totally.
get in the mood. Like I'll put my sunglasses on, I'll take my pants off, my socks off, keep playing with me. I'll do it all. we're going to the
true
wall.
comfort zone, though.
Yeah, you know, and that's like, because otherwise I'll be shaking like a chihuahua. And that's like the
Yeah.
best stuff for me. Like, you know.
You don't
That's
want to. You don't want to impede that creativity when it strikes.
Yeah,
Being able to just record it, perform it all in one spot.
Very happy I have friends that are patient enough to teach me how to do this stuff because I know I'm like a squirrel in a box. So, yeah, come a long way.
Good friends and yeah, good times. We've got 2 minutes before we got to take another break.
Ooh.
I just want to let everybody know about these songs. Some are you're featured on just before we go to the break. So
Ooh,
we got
thank you.
The Hermit produced by Just Dan. That's a shyEX song. We got a Sir Roxas song, Must Be Masochistic, featuring GXN, Frio, and shyEX, produced by Can't read my own handwriting. I'm so sorry. MYSHY, my shyEX. Maybe. Tricks came out, produced by Maxo Tyner, the OG version.
That's a 15-year-old producer.
No way.
I looked into the description and everything. It's a 15-year-old producer.
Oh,
Wow.
over the internet connections, you never know who you're gonna meet.
Somebody tried to remake the beat, and then I went with that one.
OG version. We're going back.
Trivia.
And then we've got SUB song Runnin' She, produced by Glocky. SUB song Freak in August now. September would be Offering, produced by Delix. Delix. Man, even more songs in 2023. Holy buckets.
We are sitting down with shyEX here on DogStar, working our way through the extensive discography.
Where can fans follow you?
Most of the time I spend my time on Instagram at shyExplosive and Facebook at shyEX. And then dominantly for like my music, I'm on SoundCloud and YouTube for now. I have some of my songs on all platforms. So
Look up shyEX on SoundCloud. We'll be right back.
Follow us at DogStar Podcast. Bow wow, bow wow.
Wow, wow. Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar. Bow wow.
We're sitting down with shyEX, cruising through the discography in 2023, and yeah, a bunch more songs in there.
Non-stop, it seems. Seriously.
September, Weed 'Em Out, awesome song. 1029, I'm Enough, great song. That song's so cool.
only like actually like slow
Singy,
yeah.
but the layers and that's.
What was the inspiration to do a track that much, I won't say different, but it was a step outside your normal genre?
I was put in a predicament like with love that I had never been in before. I had so much patience, so many years had already been put into it. Like picturing life without this person would have been, or was at that point in time, like impossible for me. And then But there had to be a change, and so I influenced them to want more for themselves and everything, and I had to take a step back, and in doing that, I made I'm Enough because I felt like, like they were enough for me to do what I needed to do for us to always move forward and see progression in our lives.
Wow.
And I just wanted to be enough and be like, just know and feel that, and like that's why I made that song.
That's amazing.
I was put into a competition, and that was interesting for me.
Competition.
Yes.
And then, on the same day, Shunned came out. I don't know if I didn't think they're...
Jurassic change.
Hey, I mean, we still got it. Yeah, it's like, but don't,
I'm a Sagittarius, we get mad quick. We also, forgive people. Just kidding. No, keep going.
And then 2 tracks in November, Spun Out Da Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
Just
Spun
by
Out of the
Genuine
Textile.
again. And on the 17th of November, That's It, a GXN song, produced by Nigel T, which is so cool. It's like, glad to see you were collaborating throughout the journey.
Yeah, what do you look for in a collaborator?
It's like an energy exchange thing for me. I really appreciate working with very talented people, people that are good at what they do or whatever, but I like the unique flair to things too. So I like when people make unique pauses and they have they come in aggressive at unexpected. I love that kind of stuff. I'm just oh,
But they have a voice, right?
I'll be blown away by some people that end up in my studio on the mic, because we'll be sitting there and a lot of people will be sitting there quiet, and we're just listening to beats at this point. But when people actually start opening their mouths, and we got to start turning that gain down because people is blowing me away.
Right.
Sometimes I can't help but be like, hey, do you want to get together and maybe do something crazy, you know? Like,
Yeah. Like, yeah, you
I like
got
that vibe, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like the different
Let's follow
kind of
this
sound.
thread. That's awesome.
I like a gritty sound.
Ex-Friend, the first single off of Ex-Friend, drops in April 2024.
A whole new era.
And exactly, yeah, 2024 is just as nuts, I would say. Calm Me Down is a single not off the project, I don't think, but then another single off Ex-Friend, Need, No Why? Ex Lose It, feat Nigel T, which is, yeah, a great song. And like you were saying, the styles really work well off each other. I would say.
Why make a project when it seemed like you had so much success doing singles and singles?
Why do a project? Because I felt like I have so much like halfway projects. So I was writing so much, but no songs were getting done. So then I had to challenge myself, you know, because what is life with no challenge, you know? Like, so I challenged myself to like actually not show everybody everything that I have going on and, you know, every little angle of things. And like, because I like to do sneak peeks and everything and that sort of end of things. But also I wanted to keep up with like dropping regularly so that people knew I was still like here doing things because, you know, like I had lost like my partner that was helping me drop my music. So it's kind of easy to think that, you know, we took care of shyEX. Okay. No, that is not the case.
Still here, can still make it happen.
Yeah. So, that point of Ex-Friend and like when those songs came out that you just started talking about in 2024, I had let like like another woman into my life, not like just like platonically, and I wanted to help her out with her and her kids and everything. She's an artist as well, and I wanted to support that side of her. Just met her, never no history or anything. I had only seen her on stage one time, and she really was saying some really like important things that were taking my attention. And I was just like, okay, I see the weight inside of your character. I love it, you know? And like we ended up being friends for like 4 months and things just fell off super ugly after signing a hefty lease with each other.
No.
Oh my God.
And she just vanished and everything. So I was just exploding with emotion. So at that point in time, I was just like, you know, just writing so much. And I came out with Ex-Friend because, you know, I was a hermit. Like I had social anxiety for a long time. Most of the people that were in my life were just like, you know, like the men in my life, you know, like I have all brothers, you know, like my uncles are in my life and stuff like that. And, I've had like female friends in my life, but you know, like here's one for the homies type deal. But I put a lot of trust in this girl. We kind of had decided to sign a lease with each other and like try to be partners because she had like her LLC going on. She wanted to encourage me to do mine and all of this. Whew, did not work out.
Man.
It did not work out.
Oh.
And so that album really came out of me fast. I remember before that, because I wasn't going to drop an album called Ex-Friend before dealing with that. I was like, I wasn't going to do that. But so like before that, I had tried to make a song with this individual because we were trying to be business partners and stuff. And like how I say, that energy thing, right?
Yeah.
I had it all written out. All of it was all written out. I had tried to record the song probably 52 times. It took so long. And even what we recorded did not sound good. It would, like the universe, the energy inside of me would not let me make a song with her. A month later,
That's so
like
interesting.
it fell off super ugly. Yeah.
Another tough lesson on the journey.
But a lesson nonetheless.
Yeah, super crazy.
And so yeah,
my
that
gosh.
dropped after Talk to Me. So it would have been August that Ex-Friend came out. 5-track project, sweet project. Yeah, interesting grouping of songs that we were just talking about. Yeah, awesome though. Another album in the future, do you think? Or what do you like about having a package deal versus doing singles? Or is one better than the other in your opinion?
I think think that I like having like access to having like so much different types of music in my vault and so much like different choices to even put together to share. And like I do have like I have 2 different projects in the process right now.
Nice.
Because I had one big project and I've been looking forward to it because after I did that one album drop, I really liked how, like, I don't know, I just liked how it felt to me after I did it. It was just like, okay, I actually put all that energy into it. I was able to wrap it up with a bow, show you everything I did. But also, it kind of just pulls me back to like, you know, like how I used to be dropping singles all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how I'm going to do my things just to kind of stand out and be a little unique is still incorporate SoundCloud even after I have all my platforms is just drop them as singles as I come up with them. But then as soon as I have like the whole project together, I'm going to wrap it up and then I'll drop it on all platforms as albums.
Ooh, that's perfect.
That's a great plan.
Right.
So the vault. For those who know, will know where to find the vault and the new songs.
Right. Yeah, and then we have like so like I just dropped 2 songs that have been in the vault like just this month. And so those were kind of just like me being impulsive because I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody has to hear this, and I've just been like in my room going crazy like how have I not. The rest of the world doesn't even know this exists. Like, there comes a point when you feel like you have forbidden fruit, and you're just like, look at this, you know, like, you have to see it, you know, like Bird Box stuff. But on the other hand, I have like this smaller project. It's just going to be 3 songs, and then like I have an album coming out that's going to, I'm trying to at least hit 10 tracks with it. Oh, yes. And then probably drop a couple of singles throughout that because I feel like the bigger 10-track project will probably take longer. So I'll just like, you know, drop the smaller one.
Scratch the itch of,
you know, yeah, scratch the itch. Here's something for you to chew on. Here you go, my dogs.
Those 2 recent tracks you're talking about are Alarmed and Me for Me, which are the songs that we have to play for you after this interview.
That your representative sent over.
What can you tell us about Alarmed?
Oh, okay. So Alarmed and Me for Me, those 2 are both exclusives. Those ones are exclusives that like I only have like on, what is it? One of Me for Me is only on Instagram, and then Alarmed is on YouTube. But the ones I sent to you actually is Time's Up, and then we've got Tower, and those songs I can tell you about.
Duh. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I got you. Because those 2 were different songs than the rest of the discography. So I understand how those could stand out. But yeah, so with Tower, literally, so the producer of that beat is Jen. We had been broke up for 6 months. He was still kind of living in my house because he's in a rough spot, you know. And but it was like at the end of that because I had no more tolerance, no patience. It comes to a point in your life where you need to say enough is enough.
Get out of here.
I care about you still, but this is actually me caring about you. He made me that beat for my birthday. My birthday was on December 2nd, and like legit, I was pissed. The house was dirty when I got home. I just worked 10 hours, and then he was like,
straw.
you know, and then he's like, oh, I made a beat for you, and I was like, you know what? I'll record on it.
Yeah.
And then I recorded that song, and I felt petty. And that's
my gosh.
That's why the intro of the song is like, it's too soon. But like, it's just like, whatever.
That's so good.
What a snapshot of the journey.
You know, and you come in with the pettiness, and then I don't know, whatever. That song is just a vibe. I was able to, you know, get a pretty, you know, I got a free exclusive, made a pretty crazy song on it. It's a crazy song. It's a dark beat. I love dark influences like that in beats. Like, you know, he knows me so well.
It's true,
I love
though.
all my exes. But, and then Time's Up. That song.
He's on it.
Yeah, he's on that song.
Yeah.
And that song was made in the fall of last year.
Okay.
And I wanted to get a feature onto it, but the feature's taking too long. And then honestly, they're not even responding to me. So I'm like, whatever. So it was going to be a Silence Till Broken song, but nobody's been talking about it. So I just hit up Jen one day, and I was like, you know what?
You produced it.
Yeah, you produced it. Just give it to me. You owe me so much money anyways. Also, I made the hook. It's a good song.
So the
Let me
free
have it.
feature musician on that one.
Yeah,
We've
so
only got
that
about a
one.
minute left of our interview. I wanted to ask you, how do you prepare for a show like you did for Sharks and Lasers 2, which went phenomenally?
You need to spend time in silence. You have to spend time in silence to get yourself together because you're going to be bumping elbows in a room where energy is flying any spontaneous, crazy way it wants to go, and you need to be the center of that chaos. So I've been sitting here trying to focus my thoughts and get myself together and make sure that when I look in the mirror, it's exactly what the heck I want to be looking at. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else is going to think because I spent that time centering that point. And that's like what I do before a show.
And do you still
Oh my
get?
gosh.
Well, we only got 30.
shyEX on DogStar. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for making such amazing art that inspires us, inspires your fans, and
Thank you, guys.
keeps that cycle going.
Thanks for having me.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're
thanks.
about to hear Tower and Time's Up.
Can't wait for that. Yeah, keep trusting yourself in your journeys. You're unstoppable as far as I can tell, as far as the story goes so far. So
We got the momentum.
Bow wow.
wow, wow.
Shy. It's too soon. Oh, you lost me? You ain't lost. You like any other wanna boss. You like every piece I wanna talk. You like I ain't got no business calling options. You lost it, I'm off it. Is she coming back? Maybe she can move without the stabs in the back. Maybe she could do something that lights in the past. Maybe she ain't here and she's silent is bad. What we gonna do when she's violent and mad? I don't know. Why you moving slow, man? Stuck it in the back. Disgusted, distrusting myself. It's getting bad for my health. I'm under the tower that fell. Now it's just me by myself. Under the tower that fell. You lost me, you ain't lost. And like any other wanna bust. And like every piss wanna talk. And like I ain't got no business calling options. You lost it, I'm off it. Not feeling much. Would you loosen the grip? I've always been patient, and you always a dick. Caught me off guard, and it's off what it fits. Got him pissed off, and he hate me like a bitch. Got him pissed off, and he hate me like a bitch. Got him pissed off, and he hate me like a bitch. Caught me off guard, and it's off what it fits. I got him pissed off, and he hate me like a bitch. You ain't lost, and like any other wanna boss bitch. And like every piss I wanna talk. And like I ain't got no business calling options. You lost it, I'm off it. shyEX. Tell me, do we fight enough? Think it's time to lighten up. Feel like I'm alive in here, liven up. Sign me up, not another time is up. Rise, fall, nigga, what's that? A missed call, nigga, what's wrong? Get this gone. Leave my heart out decisions. Teeth and tongue, my mind is gone. Talk a lot to block the front, Decepticon. Please, I hit my passions from the Lazarus, disastrous. Been writing off the hazardous, cause it comes back when I come back. Gonna miss that, fishing up the contact. Gonna want that, do you want that? Push his ass up, put him in a compact. Do we fight enough? Think it's time to lighten up. Feel like I'm alive in here, liven up. Sign me up, not another time is up. Tell me, do we fight enough? Think it's time to lighten up. Feel like I'm alive in here, liven up. Sign me up, not another time is up.
I ain't got no time for that. Hollows in the driver's side, I ride with that. I know I can't move and fade to black. Pissing on the head, that's where I'm draining that. It's up in the hell, I had to make it back. Said all this shit, I will not take it back. Demons in my head, the world up on my back. Dirty feeling lead, I'm trying to pass it out. I've been feeling dead, I feel like passing out. In the driver's seat, I feel like crashing out. Ain't gonna level up, it should be maxing out. Doing a little something, I got him chatting now. Stopping with the boots, I got him blacking out.
Tell me, do we fight enough? Think it's time to lighten up. Feel like I'm alive in here, liven up. Tell me, do we fight enough? Think it's